Hello and welcome to SBN Spotlight, your weekly market report from Scottish Business Network. In this series, we speak to the experts across the membership, focusing on one of three things: a sector, a region, or an opportunity that you should be thinking about in 2026. This week, I sat down with Bart from AutomateNow in person at our London event, where we talked about all the things you can be doing to help unblock your sales pipeline. One of the interesting things that we talked about is how all this technology out there, using things like RevOps and AI, are really helpful, but you still need that human touch. So, Bart, thank you very much for joining us. I just wanted to start and ask if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
Oh, good afternoon, good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Bart. I run multiple business, but the main one that is bringing the revenue, and we're going to talk about sales, is AutomateNow. And we help business to automate sales and marketing by using HubSpot and other tools.
So you wanted to talk about why buyers lie and what that means for your sales pipeline, which I love. Back at the start of my career, I was a salesperson in telecoms, and you do get a lot of people saying yes, and then you come off the call and you think, I've just had this great prospect and we're going to move it to the next stage, and then nothing happens. So are buyers being dishonest, or is there possibly a problem there with the process?
I think it's a little bit both, but the main part of the problem is confusion.
Oh,
Because buyers are confused. They have lots of different tools. Now, obviously, we're talking new technology such as AI, and they can dive deep into their own problems they want to solve. And AI is saying, yes, this is the truth. Then they're going to, obviously, their own research, calling friends, families for my massive, big decision. They need to do some research. Actually, in fact, the research is saying that they're coming for the sales call. Typically, B2B sales happens when basically they are nearly 60% ready.
Oh wow! So they've almost made up their mind.
They've done it. And the main problem is they are a bit lying because they're confused about about everything, about the offering, about who you are, about really, I want to maybe check on you. They are not ready to buy, but they want to test things. And this is because of the technology, but it is also because of the speed that we are living in.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the work that you do and some of the clients that you help. So just quick one off the bat, what are some of the common growth challenges that your clients face?
What we definitely seeing is a longer sales pipeline. Is the cycle of the sales from the start to finish is getting longer and longer. Obviously, now we are recording this, the massive changes, Middle East crisis, lots of unknown. So there is a kind of growth is there, but the decision is not yet. So that's the first one. The number two, I think everything comes to the data. Data is the king, and I think most of our clients, they do not understand the data, as simply as that. So what by data it means? We have a new tool such as buyer intent tools. We have AI research, loads of overwhelm around that. And one of the growth challenges, what and how to use it in order to grow the business. And we all know all of this quick messages via LinkedIn or outreach emails. I receive probably 10, 15 of them every day. So one of the growth challenges, what to do different in order to grow.
In fact, you mentioned technology a couple of times, and that's one thing I wanted to ask. With a sort of increase in the technology and the systems we can use and the support we can get through things like LLM models and AI, we're kind of swimming in data and different ways to do outreach. So theoretically, the sales process should be easier, but is that always the case?
No. What is missing is actually human connection, isn't it? And it's as simply as like, I strongly believe that investing in personal branding is the one way to go, really. And I'm talking from the sales perspective. So in the classic environment of salesperson waiting for the leads from the marketing, and then obviously marketing said, like, this is a ready-made sales lead for you. Then they calling, they are not really ready. Then it's a lot of kind of argument between. No, I think sales needs to build their own their own personality within LinkedIn. Events. They need to be there. They need to act really nearly the same as marketing. So I think what is missing and what we are seeing is that trust thing becomes valuable. In order to trust people, there's some process. We are humans, so there is no linear way of pipeline moving from A to B, from B to C, and then winning part. It is actually the journey that we all need to go through.
It's interesting. You said at the start as well about sometimes buyers come into a meeting with 60% of a decision
Yes.
made, and it's because they want to meet you. So people buy from people.
And this is fun fact, actually. Last year we sold a contract based on LLM, and instead of inquiry, who is like, can you show me how HubSpot works? It was more about like, what are your terms? It was completely different. So they were ready to actually make a decision. And from the inquiry to sales, that AI speed up the process by 3 months. But then it is 3 months to contract signed. Now, the challenge now is us being visible not only on your website.
Yeah. So how do you get in the LLM? So I wanted to talk a little bit about opportunity. So as you mentioned, AutomateNow are experts in using technology like HubSpot
Yes.
to support companies in their sales pipeline. So with this technology, beyond sort of the basic CRM,
Yes.
what is a secret weapon that companies should be looking at in terms of technology and ways to use technology in their sales process?
Number one is consolidate tech stack.
It seems like a fairly simple one, actually, but you're right.
It is as simple as that. When we look at the companies 200-300 plus employees, that typically a scenario is they've got some ERP system in one place, so lots of financial data is one place. Then we have another place where we have a marketing, sales, service, customer service. Now we're talking about customer success management, and all of this is still fragmented in different places. So consolidating data is, I think, the key to understand where we are as a business, as a whole business. And that many recognize this as a RevOps. Now is a very famous RevOps, but as a general rule is to have a one place that will reflect where we are. And quite often, that feedback after successful delivery of project is somewhere else, and we don't have actually any data, or someone moved the role from A to B, and we don't have that data in. That is very much important. I think that is the future.
It almost goes back to what we said about just having loads and loads of data isn't always good, because you got to be able to understand it. So in terms of the sort of customers that you're working with, are you seeing any untapped or possibly misunderstood opportunities that could help a business improve their sales pipeline?
I think back to the noise. So we're talking about specifically sales. Sales is coming to the job now. We can have an outreach, sales outreach prospecting agent. They can research everything. Everything is so easy to do that now. Problem is that this is all about, sales is about quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
So in terms of the sales, it requires more understanding the data, but also personality. So what we're seeing within bigger businesses is that the sales people, especially new generation of sales managers, they can't call normal phone call, just call to people. They always trying to look for some AI agents to make the call, and they just kind of ready on top. But people just want to have a normal, friendly, human phone call. How are you doing? And I think being present constantly within different types of sales people, it is important. So being at events, showing up, LinkedIn, your personal brand matters, and then eventually sales happens. And quite a lot of sales are going into the shortcuts.
Yeah, I think what I'm taking away most from this conversation is that all this technology can help you, but you still need to be you, and you still need to be present.
Correct.
Oh, love it. So the way I like to end these is with a bit of an action, something that the audience can take away. So if I'm an SBN member looking at a stalled sales pipeline, what is the one sort of truth-seeking question I should be asking my prospects in 2026 to sort of decide if we're getting this over the line?
So let's consider the scenario. Inquiry came via website, so it's inbound inquiry, we call it. Then we had a number of call, maybe discovery call, just to understand whether that person will pick up the phone and so on. And we went through some kind of education. I get that stage. And when we go into the more kind of environment where we're gonna close that sale, one of the one of the questions that we always recommend is, I think, 110 validation rule. So let's say this is the offering, or like maybe you just picture what and how you sort your problem with your service or product, and ask the question, how, hey, Mr. Customer, how this product and service between 1 and 10 will solve your problem. So they need to come up with some answer. So let's say they will come up with 8. Okay, so now you are uncover the next step. Like, so what would need to happen in order to get that 10 number? Okay, so that's 110 question, very common within sales environment, but it's a fantastic tool to validate readiness, basically, for the sales. But also,
because if they say 4, then you go, oh, well, what else how do we,
And this is interesting. So if the answer is something around 6, up to 0 to 6, then you need to obviously do the job, like need to work on your pipeline education. So that was the signal that job needs to be done before that offering. Okay. So if it's something like 7, 8, 10, typically it's a budget, not good timing. There's a massive decision process, or basically overwhelming. So we need a bit more time. But the good signal is if 7, 8, 10, that's we are in a good position. Is a less than that. Think about how you talk, how you guide that conversation through, and maybe improve the first discovery call.
Oh, nice. And just finally, Bart, if somebody's watching this and wants to learn more, how do they get in touch?
Yes, LinkedIn is the best place. Bart Kowalczyk, or just Bart. You can. There's no many Barts, but I've got really good relationship with lots of SBN networks. So thank you very much for our conversation.
Yeah, brilliant, Bart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfect. Oh, love that. Yeah. So thank you very much to Bart for sitting down with me, and thank you very much to all of you for watching. If you are an SBN member who has some insights you'd like to share, please get in touch. And if you want to learn more about Bart, you can connect with him on LinkedIn or learn more on the AutomateNow website. All the links are in the description of this video. And if you're not an SBN member and want to learn more, visit sbn.scot and learn how you can become part of our global Scottish community.